Hey there, everybody. It's me again. Welcome back to another episode of Catechism for Kids here at St. Joseph's Corner, where faith comes alive. Today we're answering the question, what is a thurible? That swinging smoke thing at church? You ever been at church and seen something shiny swinging with smoke coming out of it? It smells sweet. It floats in the air. It looks a little like a lantern on a chain. Well, that's called a thurible. Let's learn all about it. Okay, first things first, what exactly is a thurible? Thurible is a special metal vessel that holds burning incense. It's used in the Catholic Mass and other liturgies to honor God. The sweet-smelling smoke that rises is called incense. And it's made from dried tree sap and spices. Incense has been used since the time of the Old Testament. Remember when the Israelites traveled through the desert? They used incense to make their tents smell nice and to drive away the bugs. In the book of Exodus, we read that Aaron and his sons were told to burn incense every morning and evening. Incense was also used to cover up other smells so the tent of meeting wouldn't smell bad. And it became a way to help the people remember to worship God. So a thurible is kind of like a fancy smoking incense pot. It helps us remember to worship God and turn our hearts toward Him. Now let's move on to part 2. What does the incense mean? In the Bible, incense is a symbol of our prayers rising up to heaven. Psalm 141:2 says, "Let my prayer be like incense before you." So when we see and smell incense, it's like our prayers going up to God in a beautiful cloud of worship. The smoke from the thurible reminds us to lift up our hearts and minds to God, just like the incense. In many places throughout the Bible, incense is used as a symbol of prayer and praise. For example, in Revelation, we read that the prayers of the saints are like incense rising up before God. So the next time you smell incense at church, remember that it's not just a nice smell. It's a reminder to pray and to praise God. Next up, when do we use the thurible? The thurible is used during special masses like Easter and Christmas. It's also used on feast days and solemn celebrations. Sometimes we use it during Benediction of the Blessed Sacrament when we show Jesus in the Eucharist to the whole congregation. And we also use the thurible sometimes even during funerals. When the priest or deacon uses the thurible, he will often swing it slowly and reverently, moving it in graceful arches. The number of swings of the thurible to be used when incensing persons or objects is specified in the general instruction of the Roman Missal. 3 double swings for the Most Blessed Sacrament, a relic of the Holy Cross and images of the Lord exposed for public veneration. The offerings for the sacrifice of the Mass, the altar cross, the book of the Gospels, the Paschal candle, the priest, and the people. 2 double swings, which is only at the beginning of the celebration. And after the incensing of the altar, they are for relics and images of the saints exposed for public veneration. A series of single swings for the altar. Sometimes an altar server holds the incense boat nearby to catch any sparks or falling embers. The swinging motion helps keep the fire burning and makes sure that the smoke rises steadily from the thurible. It's important that everyone in the church can see the smoke, because it is such an important part of the ceremony. Also, if you look closely at the thurible, you may notice that it has chains attached to it. These chains are used to hang the thurible from a hook in the church. This way, the priest can easily raise it above his head, so that the smoke goes straight up. Okay, now we're on to fun fact time. Did you know that it takes practice to swing the thurible smoothly, without too much smoke or bumping into things? When I was an altar server, I had to learn how to hold the incense boat steady while the thurible swung. It took some time to get the hang of it, but after a while it became second nature. Now, swinging the thurible isn't exactly easy. There are a lot of different things that can affect the smoke, like the wind or the speed of the swinging. Sometimes the smoke can be hard to see, especially during the summer months when it's hot outside. If the incense burns too quickly, the smoke might come out in a big puff instead of a gentle stream. All these things take practice and skill to control. That's why altar servers and priests who use the thurible often practice ahead of time so they're prepared for the ceremony. And lastly, did you know that some altar servers have a secret nickname for the thurible? They call it the Holy Smoke Machine. I thought this was hilarious when I heard it, but honestly, it is kind of funny. The thurible does create a cool cloud of smoke that kind of looks like a special effect from a movie. But it's important to remember that the thurible is a sacred object used in our ceremonies. It's not just a fun toy or a cool smoke machine. It's a way for us to worship God and turn our hearts towards Him. Okay, now let's wrap things up. The Thurible is a cool part of our Catholic faith, but what does it teach us about God? First, it teaches us that God is worthy of our praise and worship. When we light incense and see the smoke rise, it's a reminder to lift up our hearts and minds to God. Second, it teaches us that prayer is important. Incense reminds us to turn our hearts toward God and remember that He is always listening to our prayers. Finally, it teaches us that God is present among us. The Thurible is often used during special moments in the Mass, like when we celebrate the sacraments. It's a reminder that God is present among us and that He wants to be praised and worshipped. So the next time you see the Thurible, take a moment to think about these things. God is worthy of our praise and worship. Prayer is important, and God is present among us. All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new and interesting. Remember, stay curious, stay Catholic. Okay, now it's time for a quick review. What did we learn today? That's right. We learned all about the Thurible, the incense, and what it means for us as Catholics. Let's review everything one more time. First off, what is a Thurible? A Thurible is a metal container that holds burning incense. It's used during the Catholic Mass and other religious services to honor God. Second, what does the incense mean? Incense is a symbol of our prayers rising up to God. Third, when do we use the Thurible? The Thurible is used during special parts of the Mass, like when we celebrate the sacraments, during Benediction, and sometimes even during funerals. Fourth, we learned a fun fact about the Thurible. It takes practice to swing it smoothly without too much smoke. Finally, what does the Thurible teach us about God? It teaches us that God is worthy of our praise and worship, that prayer is important, and that God is present among us. All right, now it's time to close. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Thurible. Remember to always stay curious and keep learning about our Catholic faith. God bless you, and remember, stay curious, stay Catholic. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time. Finally, a big thank you to all of our supporters who helped make this video possible. We couldn't do this without you. Thanks for watching.